We start with some energy-related stories, and the Electricity Company of Ghana is still continuing its debt recovery exercise in its bid to recover 5.7 million Ghana cedis owed them. Now, the ECG will be visiting households, companies, as well as states institutions which are still in debt. Now, in a related development, however, it has been revealed that the ECG itself is in debt. The company owes We Power Authority, BPA, more than $612 million, according to the CEO of BPA, Samuel Kofi Jamesi. Now, he expresses his disappointment in the inability of the ECG to pay the authority, as the power produced and supplied to the company remain the only problem confronting the operations of the 404 megawatts dam situated in the Banga district of the Bono region. Onto some politics now, and the ruling New Patriotic Party would not hold parliamentary primaries in Kumewu if the party's candidate retains a seat in the impending by-election. Now, General Secretary Justin Kodria made the disclosure when executives of the party visited the constituency to commiserate with the family of the deceased Member of Parliament, Philip Basua. Now, 2024 MPP flag bearer hopeful Alan Kojitre-Manting was also in the constituency to commiserate with the deceased family. William Evans Ingum has come through with the following report.
In terms of Kumewu constituency, will Kumewu still partake in that particular primaries, or whoever wins as the candidate and then elected as the parliamentary will automatically have a walkover?
The steering committee, the NEC and National Council of the party will have to decide. But there have been precedents, and I don't see us departing from precedents. So if you have observed how we have conducted by-elections in our party, it gives you a clue.
A family in grief, a man who has been described as a gentle politician, has had a tortuous political journey. Since the creation of this particular constituency in 1996, Philip Basua is the only member of parliament who has been on the seat or occupied the seat for 3 consecutive times. In 1996 and 2000, Rio Ade Basua was the member of parliament for Kumewu constituency, but in 2002 he died. A by-election brought Yaoba, who also occupied the seat from that time, winning the 2004 elections as the parliamentary candidate for the ruling New Patriotic Party, and also repeating same in 2008. In 2012, the late Philip Basua took over as the Member of Parliament for the Kumewu constituency. In 2016, he recorded his highest percentage in terms of vote share. Former Member of Parliament for Menchia North constituency, Collins Owusu Amankwa, says Basua never enjoyed his political life.
My late brother really suffered. He didn't enjoy as a politician. But I know that God will keep him.
Still on politics, the Greater Accra Regional Secretariat of the NDC has scheduled to vet all parliamentary aspirants from 31 out of the 34 constituencies in the region. The exercise will start today, April 3, and end on Wednesday, April 5, 2023. It will also involve the vetting of 111 parliamentary aspirants, which includes 23 females and 88 male aspirants from across the region. The other 3 constituencies which are on hold include Odododio, Ayawaso Central and Amasaman. The date for the vetting of the aspirants will be communicated in due time to the public. On to security now, and police in the Bongo district have arrested 11 persons for their alleged involvement in an attack on a Fulani settlement at the Akayungo in the Bongo district of the Upper East district. Now, more than 800 people from the Akayungo and Adaboya have been displaced after their houses were burnt down by some irate youth from Bongo and Nandam district.
The 11 were arrested following preliminary police investigations into the attack No single Fulani hut was spared by the irate youth of Bongoso, and more than 2,000 cattle are reported missing after the raid. The incident is suspected to be a reprisal attack. Eyewitnesses claimed the burning of the Fulani settlement was as a result of an alleged assault on a man from Bongoso by Fulani herdsmen. A day after the Bongo attack, another youth from Nabdam had also attacked the Fulani settlement for reasons yet to be known. The district chief executive for Bongo and NADMO official have meanwhile visited the area for an assessment of the damage caused.
As a district, we are calling on people to help us, but we have brought relief items and have moved them to the chief's house, which is a chief that has been skinned by the paramount chief to take care of the people that lives around here, to give them refuge.
Rita Tanga called for calm as investigations are ongoing to ascertain the cause of the attack. Calm has since been restored after the District Security Council visited the area. The District Security Council has intensified investigations to ascertain the actual cause of the attack on the Fulani settlements.
It's not the first time a policeman has come under attack at the hands of criminals, but the latest incident at Axim in the Western region, captured in a viral video, has pricked the conscience of society. Kamla Dum has more in the following report as police probes into the matter.
A policeman surrounded by a gang of armed attackers is heard almost negotiating for his life to be spared. The attackers from the viral video appear bent on causing him harm despite the pleas. They allege the man in uniform with the Axim patrol team is responsible for extorting monies from them. That is a subject of a police investigation.
Usually they would have recounted the arrest, but this time around they recounted the arrest and added a bit of the extortion allegation that has been alleged. And so as far as I'm concerned, let's see how this pans out. This time around, we seem to have a police that are not allowing the public, especially the criminals amongst us, to take the laws into their own hands and probably bully all of us into submission.
Retired police officer and MP for Wa West, Peter Tobu, expects a swift probe and the outcome made public.
Referring that matter to the Professional Standards Bureau is in the right direction. When you conclude the matter, please come back to the public and let them know this particular matter that we're investigating. The police officers have been punished or they've not been punished. The suspect in court, this is the outcome. We want to follow the case to its finality, and I think that will be more professional.
The conduct of a policeman who was under siege in the video has also come under some scrutiny. But Peter Tobu says the serviceman did the right thing.
Attacking men and women in uniform is part of the professional hazard. And that is why I want to congratulate the young man who was nearly lynched. These, I call them gallantries. Encourage every officer. When you find yourself in danger, don't try to play a hero. You can be killed. I mean, if you go and face the Professional Standards Bureau, you are probably finally punished or even dismissed at worst. You're still a human being. You have life to live.
4 suspects, Kojo Sian alias Mose, Emmanuel Mensah alias Kofi Samoa, Maxo Kujo, and Ejabu Haruna Disau, who were arrested for their suspected involvement in the attack, have already been put before court. That would not stop the police from going after more suspects connected to the attack. Security analyst Dr. Adam Bona knows in no time they would also be fished out.
There is no way we can totally, eradicate criminality in our society. The only thing that I think is happening is that probably the education, the advocacy is not going down well because we have come from a situation where in the past, probably these criminals might never have been arrested. We still have some young people or some people out there who still hold that view that the status quo still remains. What they don't know is that this time when you commit crime, if you willingly commit a crime, the police would willingly also arrest you.
On to some more stories. And leaving home to see greener pastures in Ghana's capital is common among many young people. But it may not be all rosy. Godwin Asidiba hits the streets of Accra, where many have ended up living and doing all sorts of odd jobs to survive.
They do not have a permanent structure they call home. Raggedly dressed, barefooted with brownish stained teeth, the shelter and the streets and sleep under bridges. These are people going the extra mile to earn a living, and each one of them has a story to tell. Everyone is on to their daily hustle and bustle of city life in Accra. But for Frank Asante, it is just any other ordinary day, already off to fend for himself. A horrendous smell from the Odo drain at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Yet every day, he wades through rubbish stuck in the stagnant water, broken glass and toxic waste, collecting scrap metal and plastic to sell to earn a living. He's 28 years old from the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi.
60, 50, 40, go to me 15 cities.
I sometimes earn 60, 50 or 40 Ghana cedis. The country is tough.
Frank traveled to the capital to make life better for himself.
Anytime I come across someone I know, I hide because of how I look. I sometimes cry.
He tells me he sometimes finds dead bodies washed away by flood waters in the drain, especially when it rains.
We sometimes see dead bodies in the water, especially when it floods. I am used to the stench here. I am not perturbed.
This drain gets filled to the brim when it rains heavily in Accra and even flood homes. A clear example is the tragic June 3rd disaster in 2015. Frank says he makes more money because the water comes along with a lot of scraps from different channels. It was his dream to become a commercial driver or a fabricator, but drug addiction has been his biggest challenge to overcome.
I am addicted to cocaine. I don't want to steal to survive.
And this particular drain connects to a number of drains, and anytime it rains heavily, all the water gathers here before it moves straight to the sea. Now, you have people like Frank who come in here daily to pick used plastic bottles and scraps just to be able to sell to others to earn little money to earn a living.
Kwabna Nyako also came to Accra a year ago, aiming for a more promising future.
I would love to be a mechanic.
Kwabna is also here to pick used plastic bottles and scraps to sell.
I will leave this job for a better one when it comes my way.
He left home when he was 12 years after his father passed and his mother abandoned him in Aguna Swedro in the central region.
I've been taking care of myself since I was 12. My dad has passed and my mom is not around.
They do not earn much for what they collect. Middlemen buy recyclables recovered by these waste pickers, sort, clean and process them before selling to scrap dealers. It is these middlemen and scrap dealers who often earn large profits. Highly spirited in the day, but when it's all over and the sun goes down, they have to find a place to spend the night. After a hard day's work, Frank comes here to pass the night, a place he calls home, under the Circle overpass, battling mosquito bites. Frank was so tired he forgot to take his dinner, porridge and bread. Head of department at the Occupational Health and Safety at the Accra School of Hygiene, Kolebu, Isaac Agbenyezi, describes their situation as risky.
It is a major public health concern because these guys end up using public goods with the public. They enter public transports and who knows the extent of the contamination they do after they enter these gutters. Anyone who comes into contact with them is exposed. We have to look at identifying these guys, training them, giving them information about the extent of exposure and how that is dangerous to their health, and the need to protect them, give them PPE so they are protected as they salvage these wastes, which they find as resources.
A study conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service revealed about 1.74 million, of 13.4% of the total working population of 13 million in the age bracket of 15 years and above were unemployed. It revealed that unemployment rate rose from 13.4% to 13.9%, which consists of 1.8 million people in the second quarter of the year. More worrying is that the age bracket affected by unemployment is from 20 to 29 years, where Frank and Kwabena falls. Aside the daily grind for survival, people like them often face discrimination. Godwin Asidiba, TV3, Accra.
Now, the emergence of artificial intelligence technology has made dreams become reality and the impossible achievable. As AI evolves, there's increasing concern about its impact on the job market. In the following report, George Queenin explores the merits and demerits of the technology.
So this app is the ChatGPT, and it's an artificial intelligence chatbot developed by OpenAI and launched in November 2022. And it's got all the assistance that you need. It's got the email writer, it's got the academic writer as well, and answer interviewer. You also have the dream interpreter on, and plagiarism checker and advertiser. And this very app has been fine-tuned using both supervised and reinforcement learning techniques.
ChatGPT has simplified the work of 18-year-old facilitator at the Wesley Girls Senior High School, Laurentia Boachoa Adakwa. Research, which hitherto took her days, now takes her minutes. Just key in whatever, and your response awaits you in a blink of an eye.
It's helping us solve problems that would have used a longer period, or problems that were very demanding. And students can learn at their own pace. Students can pick topics and cover it by themselves without the need of a teacher or even a facilitator.
The dialogue format makes it possible for ChatGPT to answer follow-up questions, admit its mistakes, challenge incorrect premises, and reject inappropriate requests.
Some students have even gone to the extent of using 3D printers to write the assignments or the answers they get. That means a student is given an assignment and she does nothing. The AI does everything. So I think it's having a negative impact since students are not putting in efforts.
For her, a tutor in most cases can easily identify a ChatGPT generated response, as in most instances, the knowledge is beyond the student. Aside ChatGPT, there are other AI-developed technologies, including Claude and Bard, that have offered love seekers solutions to their numerous relationship challenges.
Here it's me asking AI to write an email to Group CEO asking for approval for hiring budget, right? Mm-hmm. AI thinks a little, and then it responds with the email I need. And it gives me everything I need with the subject and then some reasons and things like that. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to tweak this email, I can just tell it, make it shorter. And then it will respond to me with a shorter version of the email.
Digital expert Richard Sinakwashi touts AI as scarily good.
If you just rely solely on AI to get your results or to get your prompt or answers to your prompt for you, you might be unproductive. But at the end of the day, the best way to use AI is in collaboration with your strengths. AI would elevate what you already know. If you don't know how to give it the right prompt, you'll not get the right response. If you don't know how to even understand and then fact check it, you'll not even be able to utilize it for things like academic purposes.
0. Dear guest, your meal is ready.
This is a robot working in a restaurant in Nigeria. It may come in handy, but what happens if the employer goes all out on these AI-developed robots? Many experts warn that AI may lead to the displacement of jobs, and according to a report by McKinsey Global Institute, up to 800 million jobs worldwide could be lost to automation by 2030. It could replace a quarter of work tasks in the US and Europe, but may also mean new jobs and productivity boom. These images of Pope Francis wearing trendy clothes, for instance, made waves online until it was revealed to internet users that they were AI generated by a Chicago man. This justifies concerns of artists about AI image generators, which has the potential of harming their employment prospects. But how can the job market maximize this technology?
If you are an implementer of computer systems, one of the first things to look at is to make sure that these systems, instead of them replacing humans, they would rather augment what the humans can do. So if 2 people can do an amount of work in a day, we should implement artificial intelligence such that they would help these 2 people to, let's say, produce twice the amount of work that they are doing. I believe that as researchers, for example, as students, we have to use the AI as a tool that would point us into various directions that are going to help us. So if previously you were looking for a particular knowledge in a specific area and it was taking you 5 hours, why don't you use AI? Why don't you use ChatGPT, for example, in this context?
Twitter boss Elon Musk and 1,000 other technology leaders, including Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, are calling for a 6-month pause on all AI development because it poses a profound risk to society and humanity. Decision theorist in the United States, Eliezer Yudkozy, in a sharp rebuttal said, pausing isn't enough, but entire shutdown is the way to go. He further explains that if somebody builds a too powerful AI under the present conditions, he expects that every single member of the human species and all biological life on Earth dies shortly thereafter.
In as much as AI is making life easier, there's this bit about job security threat. The fact that it may lead to job displacement, particularly for the vulnerable and less skilled workers. Ultimately, the future of AI and the job market will depend on how we manage the technology and ensure that it benefits all members of society. George Quinn in TV3 News, Accra.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, on the foreign front, OPEC has announced a surprise oil production cut that will exceed 1 million barrels a day, abandoning previous assurances that it would hold supply steady to maintain a stable market. That's a significant reduction for a market where, despite the recent price fluctuations, supply was looking tight for the latter part of the year. Oil futures weren't trading when the cut was announced on Sunday, but the inevitable price reaction could add to inflationary pressures across the world. This could force central banks to keep interest rates higher for longer and amplifying the risk of recession. Saudi Arabia lead the cartel by pledging its own 500,000 barrel a day supply reduction. Fellow members, including Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and Algeria, followed suit, while Russia said its production cut from March would continue until the end of year. That's how I wrap up the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Awachik Tando, and Roland Walker is with me in the studio for the rest of New Day.